We are right with Michael Schumacher now, and Senna! My goodness! I just saw him plunge off to the right, and Senna has joined Pietro Lamy.
Did you know 52 Formula One drivers have lost their lives since the sport began in 1950?
Gasly goes, oh, he's going to put it in the wall! Big crash on board!
Wolfgang von Trips lay dead, and death came to 13 spectators in this appalling crash.
But wait, this doesn't mean that there have only been 52 crashes in the sport. Countless accidents and collisions have taken place throughout the history of Formula One racing. Some of these incidents have led to serious injuries where drivers have had to fight for their lives, while others have resulted in tragic fatalities. So, let's dive into the most brutal crashes in F1 history. 1961 Italian Grand Prix at Monza. On September 10, 1961, the Italian Grand Prix at Monza became one of the darkest days in Formula One history. During the second lap of the race, Wolfgang von Trips, a talented German driver for Ferrari, crashed in a terrible accident. As he approached the tricky parabolica curve, von Trips' car collided with Jim Clark's Lotus. The impact sent von Trips' Ferrari into a fence, where many fans were watching. The crash was so brutal that it killed 15 spectators and von Trips himself. What made the event even more chilling was the decision to continue the race despite the chaos. I mean, how on earth can you continue the race when 16 people have lost their lives? But there was a solid reason behind it. This controversial choice was reportedly made to prevent spectators from leaving the track all at once and blocking the roads, which could have hindered emergency crews from reaching those who were injured. 1982 Belgian Grand Prix. This brutal F1 crash took place during the final qualifying session of the 1982 Belgian Grand Prix and claimed the life of Canadian race car driver Gilles Villeneuve. At the time of the crash, Villeneuve was pushing hard to set a faster time after his teammate, Didier Pironi, had beaten him by just 0.1 seconds for 6th place on the grid. With only 8 minutes left in the session, Villeneuve came speeding over a rise after the first chicane, where he encountered Jochen Mass, a German driver in a slow March car. Unable to avoid a collision, Villeneuve's Ferrari hit the back of Mass's car and was launched into the air at an estimated 200 to 225 kilometers an hour, or 120 to 140 miles per hour. Now, that's seriously terrifying, but what happened afterwards is gonna blow your mind. The car flew over 100 meters before crashing nose first into the ground and breaking into pieces. Villeneuve, still strapped into his seat but missing his helmet, was thrown another 50 meters into the catch fencing. Rescue teams reached him almost right away and found him unconscious and not breathing. Although his heart was still beating, they quickly put a tube into his airway and used a ventilator to help him breathe before rushing him to the medical center. Later, he was flown to the hospital by a helicopter. Sadly, doctors found that Villeneuve had a serious neck injury that he could not survive. He was kept on life support for a short time so that his wife could come and specialists could assess him, but he passed away at 9:12 that evening. 1994 San Marino Grand Prix. On May 1st, 1994, Brazilian Formula One driver Ayrton Senna tragically lost his life during the San Marino Grand Prix at the Imola circuit in Italy. Senna was leading the race when his car crashed into a concrete barrier at the Tamburello corner. Investigations later revealed that the crash was caused by a mechanical failure, as the steering column in Senna's car had snapped moments before the accident. Earlier that weekend, another fatal crash occurred during qualifying, claiming the life of Austrian rookie Roland Ratzenberger. His car's front wing failed, leading to a deadly collision with the concrete barrier. Beyond these two tragedies, the weekend brought several injuries to driver Rubens Barrichello and many other mechanics and spectators. 2015 Russian Grand Prix. During the final practice session for the 2015 Russian Grand Prix, a serious accident occurred involving Carlos Sainz Jr., driving for Toro Rosso. About 35 minutes into the session, Sainz lost control of his car while braking at turn 13. His car skidded into a wall and then crashed heavily into the Tech Pro safety barriers. The impact was severe, and initial images showed the car lodged nose first deep within the protective barriers. The session was immediately stopped as marshals and medical teams rushed to the scene. They worked to free the driver from the wreckage and used cranes to lift parts of the safety barriers. Sainz was eventually placed on a stretcher and carried to an ambulance. Despite the intensity of the crash, Sainz gave a reassuring thumbs up to onlookers as he was transported to the hospital. Later updates brought a sense of relief. Sainz manager later said he's doing perfectly and shared a picture on social media of him sitting up in a hospital bed, smiling and giving a thumbs up. Anyhow, the crash itself was brutal, and thank God he survived it. 2018 Italian Grand Prix at Monza. Next up, we have another frightening crash from the 2018 Italian Grand Prix at Monza, this time involving Swedish driver Marcus Ericsson. During practice, Ericsson faced a terrifying high-speed accident when it seemed that his car's drag reduction system failed to close properly under braking. This failure caused him to lose control. As a result, he crashed into the wall and the car rolled 3 times. Miraculously, the car eventually came to a stop right side up. Marshals quickly rushed to assist Ericsson, helping him out of the car and taking him to Monza's medical center for examination. Over the team radio, Ericsson expressed his confusion about the incident, stating, "I don't know what happened." Fortunately, he was able to return to the garage a while later, giving a reassuring thumbs up to the team and fans. However, it was clear he had taken quite a hit, as he was seen limping and rubbing his neck. 2020 Bahrain Grand Prix. For me, this is the most brutal crash that I've ever seen in Formula One. It happened during the opening lap of the 2020 Bahrain Grand Prix, involving French and Swiss rider Romain Grosjean. The horrifying incident unfolded when Grosjean clipped the wheel of Daniil Kvyat's car, sending him veering off track at a speed of 220 kilometers an hour, or 137 miles per hour. His car struck the metal barriers with such a force that the impact was measured at a staggering 53 G, tearing the car in half. The front part of the car, which included Grosjean in the cockpit, pierced through the barriers and was immediately covered in flames. What made this crash even more shocking was the fact that Grosjean was trapped in the flames for nearly 20 seconds before he managed to free himself and climb to safety. Despite the extreme conditions, he survived with only second-degree burns to his hands. He was taken to the hospital for a checkup, and his recovery later served as a testament to modern safety measures in Formula One. One of the key factors that saved Grosjean's life was the Halo cockpit protection device, introduced by the FIA in 2018. Although controversial when it was first implemented, the Halo undeniably proved its value during this crash by shielding Grosjean's head from the metal barriers. Later, from his hospital bed, Grosjean expressed his gratitude for the Halo in an emotional post, admitting that he had initially been against it, but now saw it as a life-saving innovation. He said, "I wasn't for the Halo some years ago, but I think it's the greatest thing that we've brought to Formula One, and without it, I wouldn't be able to speak with you today." 2022 Saudi Arabian GP. This brutal F1 crash was the result of just slightly going wide. During the qualifying session for the 2022 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, German driver Mick Schumacher, driving for the Haas F1 team, suffered one of the most frightening accidents of his career. While going through a corner, Mick ran slightly wide on the exit and hit a curb. This caused the car to bottom out, meaning the underside of the car scraped the ground, making it hard to control. Then he lost control, and the car shot across the track, crashing hard into the barrier. The impact was severe, destroying the Haas car, but thankfully, Mick Schumacher didn't get severely injured and later recovered fully. 2023 Singapore GP qualifying. Finally, we have Lance Stroll's dramatic crash during the 2023 Singapore GP qualifying session. The Canadian driver, representing Aston Martin, was giving it his all to secure a spot in Q2. However, as he approached the final turn, things took a turn for the worse. Stroll ran over the curbs at high speed, which caused a sudden snap of oversteer. This unexpected movement made the car unstable, and before he could regain control, the Aston Martin was sent hurtling into the barriers. The crash was intense as it massively damaged the car. Thankfully, Stroll was able to get out of the car on his own, and medical checks confirmed he was fit. However, the team later revealed that he was still feeling the impact from the crash. Prioritizing his health, Aston Martin made the decision to have Stroll sit out the race weekend to fully recover. Hit that like button if you found the video informative. And don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon so we know you're a true Formula One fan.